Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. It's very early in the morning. It's cold, as you can see. I'm sporting the two-shirt look now. I got long johns on. It's like 22 degrees outside. But you ever meet those people who, years and years ago, a movie comes out, and everybody's excited about it, talking about it, and, you know, it's all the rage. And then years go by, and it's no longer the rage, and those people come to you, and they say, hey, I saw this great movie, I want to talk about it. And it's that movie. It's the movie that came out years ago and nobody cares about anymore. Well, I'm that guy. Superman, Earth 1. J. Michael Straczynski and Shane Davis. You know, this was made, you know, like 6 years ago. And I just read it recently, and I want to talk about it now. So, I'm going to. Here's the thing. If you read a book like this, watch a show like Smallville, check out Man of Steel when it comes out in theaters, like Lois and Clark, or watch the Justice League cartoons where Superman is a part, you're watching alternate takes on the origin, the story, the continuing adventures. It's never, rarely ever, is there going to be a Hollywood adaptation, a novel written by somebody, a story, even a current line of comic books that lives up to every single incarnation that's ever come before. Especially when you have a one-shot like this. Now, the reason I wanted to talk about this now is because Earth 1 Volume 2 is pretty much available now. I think just about anywhere you can buy your books, online or in your stores. And so that makes this relevant again because it was the first one that started it all. Now, it's been years. So, as I mentioned, when you have a one-shot or a small mini-series or a 12-book thing where it's going to end and you know you have only a certain amount of issues to tell what you want to tell, it always seems like those are the stories that people like the most. I'm not saying this one. I'm just saying in general. People mention Kingdom Come all the time. People mention Red Sun all the time. I hear All-Star oftentimes, Superman All-Star. And I think that the reason for that is that the writers and the artists knew going in where they were going to and where they were going to stop and how the story was going to end, and they had a specific point to tell. When you have a continuing series going, like the regular line of comics, Superman, Man of Steel, Action Comics, that is always ongoing and you're simply telling ongoing adventures, you may have individual points you want to get across in an episode, but it's not a finite story. It's going on and on and on. So I think it's much harder to make it something that's going to stick with you every moment, as opposed to having one book, you know, that fits across. In your mind, something like this will stick with you longer because you're used to having a book every month of action, a book every month of Superman, a book every month, you know, of Supergirl, these things. So they're not as special. And I think that it's not so much that they're not good for what they are. It's just that people tend to remember the hardcovers, the ones that come out that are talked about, that are much hyped. But as far as Earth 1, I actually enjoyed it. I actually thought the art was really good. And that helps because, you know, when you're a single book coming out, you can take the time to really make the art something special. Not that the art isn't good in the monthly books, but they don't have as much time. I've actually been pretty pleased with the new 52 art in general on most of the books that I'm reading. But you know, this is another reason why these standalone books oftentimes are people's favorites or are the ones that people mention when they're asked what books you should read. Because I think that they're a prestige format. They have wonderful artwork. They've got the shiny pages. They're really taken care of and they're planned out. I enjoyed Earth 1. It was a little bit different. There was a different take. I like an intelligent Superman, a Superman who can outthink people, who can speed read, who knows different languages. This is a Superman that makes sense to me. I'm not saying it's a guy who should be able to juggle planets or make galaxies in his house, but I do think that, I don't know, the guy who I first got used to was a guy who was really intelligent, was a guy who was worldly, who had traveled, who knew things about the world. He wasn't just a dumb guy who was strong. And sometimes that's who people think Superman is, a big dumb jock who it just happens to have superpowers. But Superman is smart, and Superman would be able to figure things out. He'd be able to follow clues, but he's also strong as well. If you like that kind of a story and you like an alternate take on an origin, we've seen so many origins of Superman in recent years, and we're on another one now in the New 52, that some people get weary of it. But this is just another take, and it's by a pretty well-known comic book writer, Straczynski, and it's got great artwork, and it'll help you to get prepared for Volume 2, which is out now. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And remember, always look up in the sky.